My name's Josh Snyder. You're watching Thoughtful Discussions, and I'm here with
DJ ADMC.
Awesome. And how's everything going?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm awesome. Work's picking up, and it's beautiful out.
That's right. It's about, 85 degrees out today, 90 today?
We've been waiting for it in Pittsburgh. So tell me a little bit about how you got started. What got you interested in DJing?
Well, I guess to start, to go back to college days.
Okay. Yep.
Or actually even before that. In high school, I was a big music guy. I was always in marching band or concert band or anything music related.
Gotcha.
So once that started in college, I quit music altogether because there wasn't any marching band, and well, there was, but I just wasn't going to get involved with that.
Right.
So started drinking a lot more in college, going out to bars and clubs, and I would hear DJs play music, and I was always a big hip-hop guy back in the day, and I loved it. So I figured, why not try to do some DJing, because I've always wanted to keep doing music, and it just fit well at the time. So I bought a bunch of equipment. I had no idea what I was doing with it. But then I just kept working on it and got better, and the rest is history.
Awesome. Is there anyone that inspired you and you were like, oh, I can do this?
When I started, I guess I looked up the electro DJs at the time that were coming up. Obviously Diplo with the Mad Decent movement, with all that stuff. I watched what he did, and I basically based my equipment purchases off of what he was using.
Okay.
Probably not the best thing at the time, because he was using turntables at the time, which when I first dived into it, turntablism, I wasn't interested in that. I just wanted to mix well, so I should have probably started with a different setup. But I'm glad I went with turntables, because I still have them to this day. And so, I mean, even though Diplo is more for a producer and DJ, I'm glad in the 10 years of doing this, I went through the DJ path rather than the producer path. But yeah, that was probably my influence at that time.
Interesting. And where did you go to school?
I went to Penn State.
Okay.
So I was jumping around PA, different campuses.
Okay.
And did a study abroad, but I ended up in State College to finish.
Okay.
And that's where I kind of started my DJ, not career at the time, because it wasn't definitely not a career, my DJ path. And that's where I heard a bunch of DJs out in State College. So that's what got me going.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's where I ended. Graduated 2009, moved to Pittsburgh, and started working a customer service job. But started doing house parties.
Okay, that's a good in, though.
So I feel like when you start, to a lot of DJs out there trying to start their game, house parties are the way to go. House parties will get you into it and get you comfortable playing music in front of people that are pretty much going to be your friends. And so you'll know whether you like doing it right then and there.
Right.
But so you'll figure out how to DJ. You'll figure out your style, and then once you get that down, I feel is a good time to try to break into wherever you're at in the scene, whatever city or what's going on around you, to break into the clubs and bars around there.
Right. Has there been anyone in Pittsburgh that's kind of like stood out to you as far as like whether as like a promoter, whether like they booked you, kind of helped you along, or anyone that you've looked up to?
So when I started, I did house parties on Carnegie Street.
Okay.
In Lawrenceville. So me and my buddies from high school, we like to throw bangers, and that's where I started. And from there, my buddy Devin, who we have a party called Get Weird. We started doing that at Remedy. Because he knew one of the bartenders there who worked there. So that was the inn that we had right at the beginning.
Got it. That kind of pushed you up.
It's got me out of Carnegie Street
right.
Living rooms into the bar scene in Pittsburgh.
Got it.
So we started there and built that up pretty big when that was in 2010, I believe.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So what would you say is what's going on now? What's your day-to-day like? What are the big events that you like to do, and how is that all working out?
So a little history of all that. You know, when I moved here, I was working in a regular 9-to-5 job up until 2 years ago.
Okay.
But what had happened, we had been moving that party around from Remedy down to Belvedere's. This was pre-fire. Belvedere's actually had a fire in 2017, I believe it was.
Sounds about right.
And when that closed down for their repairs, I kind of stopped doing parties around Pittsburgh. When they reopened, we took, I actually should take that back.
Yeah.
I didn't stop doing parties. I moved it to a different venue. But in the interim, when they opened back up, I saw that as an opportunity to move back into Belvedere's. And what they had done was when they repaired their bar, they transferred it to not necessarily a music venue for bands anymore. It was more of a club that they wanted dance parties. But not in a club that you think of bottle service, more of a do-it-yourself dance party venue that they is geared more towards dance parties and themed parties. Yeah. So that's kind of the route that I went with about 2 years ago, and it's been working out pretty well. Yeah. What I do at Belvedere's is Belvedere's is a big space. Yeah. Pittsburgh is not a big city. Right. But it is big enough to get attention when there is a party that grabs the public's eye. Right, right. So the formula that I've kind of created is to take popular artists at right now. Yep. Or a popular genre of music right now, and make that into a theme party for Belvedere's to pack it in on the weekends, and also use my DJ skills to make it be the best party that it could be. Awesome. And so that's kind of been what have been doing and what I was able to do to be able to quit my 9-to-5 job and move forward into this crazy DJ career. So
Belvedere's reopening was your avenue to becoming your own boss, entrepreneur.
And the reason why I chose Belvedere's is because back in 2010 or 2011 when we started there, they've been family. Yeah. Ever since I walked in the doors of that place, I love Belvedere's to death, and they've been my second home since before, pre and post fire. Gotcha. So when I got the opportunity to do that and the relationships that I have made there with them,
perfect fit.
It was a perfect fit. It made total sense.
Gotcha. So pre 2017, you're dreaming, hoping, wanting to be doing it. You're doing the DJ thing full time. You're just like kind of like, how am I going to get there? Or did it just kind of come out of nowhere and you're like, oh, I can do this?
It kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah. I said, wow, I can do this. Okay. I always thought I was going to be a businessman. Okay. I guess I kind of am now. Still. Sure. But I thought I was going to be the corporate guy. Okay. So for a long time, I had two lives. I was business Adam, and then I was DJ Adam. Okay. And it was weird for a while, and I just remember my last job, I absolutely hated it. And when I was doing more parties and realizing that if I put all of my time and effort into these parties, I could potentially pay my bills the same exact way I am now, but without having to work the 9-to-5 job.
Right.
So once I realized that and crunched the numbers, I said, yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
And, but that was depending on if Belvedere's was on board with me too.
Correct.
Which when they were,
yep.
I dove head first right into it, and it was very scary.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I had a lot of people supporting me. My fiance Allie was right there by my side the whole entire time, and
awesome.
I probably couldn't have done it without her.
Right.
You know, saying,
This is the way to go. Yeah.
So, and another reason why I feel like I was driving her completely insane when I was working, because I hated it so much.
Yep.
So she probably just said, "Do anything but what you're doing now."
Yep.
And it worked out.
I can see that. I get the same way if I'm not doing my own thing. It's like, because I've been an entrepreneur, so I started when I was 18, working for myself. I did that business for 7 years, sold it. That was in Southern California, moved out to Pittsburgh. And the first couple of years, I didn't really have a ton of connections yet. And I was just, I was working at a couple different screen printing shops and a beer store and a call center and a pizza shop. And it was like, I was kind of all over the place. And the girl I was with was just like, I could tell you're not happy. And it's like, at that point, it's different because I was an entrepreneur and I knew I wanted to do something. I just wasn't ready yet to do my next thing. And so it was like, there would be times where it was just like, you could tell I was way uncomfortable, but that was good to kind of get a little break and see where you put yourself and
of course
what you do.
It's written all over your face when you're not happy. It really
oh
is.
yeah,
you
absolutely.
can't hide it. If you're that truly unhappy with where you're at,
I was doing anything I could as like a side project. Oh, maybe I can make a couple bucks doing this, like this little, like, I could do some photography on the side, or I could do, whatever it might be. And then printing was the thing that just kind of, my son was born, became a stay-home full-time dad, had the time, told everyone, hey, I'm doing printing. I started my apartment. Everyone was like, okay, print this for me. Okay. So I just kept it.
It works like that.
Right.
It really does. I mean, I never thought that I would be, I mean, I guess I never liked the word entrepreneur. I never, because when you went to college or you went to study something, everybody was, well, there's a major called entrepreneurship. I'm like, what does that? I'm not just gonna go for business or something. So I never liked the word entrepreneur, but
I love that. That's hilarious.
It really is what you and I both are.
Right.
Even though I am a DJ, it's also I'm my own business.
Absolutely.
Well.
Absolutely.
So, and when you work for yourself, you realize you work the hardest you've ever worked in your life.
Absolutely.
But you want to have it any other way, because once you do it, you can't go back.
Absolutely. No, there's, like, I've heard, and I don't know who said it originally, like, entrepreneurs are the only people that will work 60 hours so they don't have to work 40. Right. Like, it's the truest thing ever, because you're working for yourself, and the options are endless. And where you go next year is going to be so much bigger than what you did this year. And if you didn't, then that's on you, and you have to figure out why you didn't get it.
Absolutely.
And you're like, okay, then you challenge yourself and you keep moving. So it's a lot of fun.
So that human emotion of being frightened of failure is a real thing with entrepreneurs, because
absolutely,
if you fail, it's on you, and that's it.
No one else to blame.
That's it.
Right. And that's why you just do your best, and people take notice, and that builds, right? So
most definitely.
What do you think that you do differently than other DJs that sets you apart?
So, to be honest with you, I never really thought that I was set apart from DJs, especially in the city. Because when I started, I had a ton of favorite DJs in the city, and I just wanted to be a part of the scene.
Right.
So, up until the point where this became my life and my job and my career, I really never honed in on the art or being technical. So I think what sets me apart now, in a sense, is that it's all I do.
Yeah.
It's what I love. And if I ever had put in my time and effort into anything, I guess you could say I'm a perfectionist. So when I'm doing something that is my entire life, I'm gonna put 100% into it. So I feel like that might,
Yeah.
you could say, puts me apart, because a lot of other DJs, and I'm not saying anything bad about that, but they have their jobs or their other gigs. They don't.
Right.
They're not 100%
In.
DJs
Right.
or promoters or whatever.
Right.
So you see, the people who do it 100%, 150%, because that's what they do.
Yep.
You can tell.
Yeah.
You can always tell.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't like that for a long time. I had my job. I had a party. I did it once a month.
Yep.
And that was it. And I could even say I was a shit DJ back then too.
Right.
But it was up until I said, this is what I want to do. I want to be good at this. I'm putting all my time and effort into this.
Right.
This is how I eat. I feel like that's when people started to say, hey, man, we noticed that you're doing a little more than normal.
Right.
And that's so. And now I just keep that going.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's to answer your question in a long way. I feel like that's what my answer would be. But yeah,
that's awesome. Now you've had some other people come up, and you've maybe done some like mentoring, and tell me a little bit about that. How does that feel when you have someone come up to you and want to learn from you, and how do you take that on, and what do you try to show them?
That's the best feeling in the world, when somebody asks you to show them something, teach them something.
Right.
I get why people are teachers, in life, because
absolutely,
or mentors in any way, because that just, it makes you feel so good when somebody says, I like what you do, can you please show me what's going on?
Right.
So I treat that as a top priority. If anybody ever asks me a question about DJing, I will tell them anything they want to know, whether it be equipment, technique, style, what videos to watch, whatever.
Yeah.
Anything. I'm always helping, because I really didn't have that.
Yeah.
It's hard. A lot of people won't teach you anything because they think that somebody will, surpass them or be better than them, or whatever it is.
Or I had to learn myself, and now you have to go through and learn yourself.
I hate that
right,
shit
right.
too. Because if I had somebody to teach me what I learned myself,
it
would have been a whole different story.
Right.
But I am very proud that I was able to teach myself.
Sure.
And to get to where I am now. So I'm not knocking that, because if you're teaching yourself, continue to do that. That's awesome. But if you have somebody to help you, that's a complete difference, and that's really nice.
Huh.
So yeah, I feel great when anybody asks me to help them.
That's awesome. I have the same kind of thing. Sometimes if I see someone come in the print shop and they're getting business cards because they just had this idea, and they're like, oh, I want to, I want to start this thing, and you can kind of see the fire in them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let me help you out a little bit more. Let's go grab some coffee, or and if they're interested in taking your advice, then the amount that you can give them is like, here's where I screwed up a couple times. Here's where you can do better. Here's,
sure,
what I mean, whatever. But the feel for me, on the other hand, I had a ton of mentorship. I'm the youngest of 5, and all of my siblings were always super helpful. And then people in other businesses. I was young starting out. I had a guy that his name was Daniel Verdugo. He had a newspaper publishing company. At the time, he was 26. I was 18. He had a multi-million-dollar company, and he would spend an hour, 2 hours with me on the phone trying to get me to understand exactly what had value, what didn't, whatever. So I feel like I owe it to people that
100%. I mean, you give what you get.
Right.
It really is. You can have $1 million business.
Right.
And I feel the karma or the energy or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
If you put the effort into helping and use that energy in a good way, what you get back is just gonna help you more.
Absolutely.
Because I have a friend.
Yeah.
He's into menswear and leatherworking and hat making.
Sure.
And he showed me a message the other day from a dude. He reached out to the guy and asked for help in hat making. Yeah. And the response was basically, I taught myself how to do this. Yeah. I'm not teaching you. And I just thought that was complete and utter bullshit. Because you know, you can just at least say, okay, watch these videos. This is what helped me.
Absolutely.
You don't have to come over and show me how to cut leather or show me how to make a hat, or whatever, or show me how to scratch or show me how to mix. But at least throw positive energy that way and say, okay, this is what I did when I started.
Right.
Here's the first step.
Right.
What is so hard about that? And what do you think? I mean, it boggles my mind how people don't put positive energy that way.
Yeah.
And then they expect positive shit to happen to them. It's just,
or they wonder why it's not happening. They're like, "Why isn't the world against me?"
Right.
Like, come on, like, let's take a look. So I have friends in San Francisco who know who you are. I have you've been on some blogs and stuff like that. Where would people that are outside of Pittsburgh, how would they know you? Like,
so I actually, you know, when I started this full time, this being everything I do, Instagram and social media right now is really blowing up with everything. To be honest with you, I don't care if it's cooking, bicycling, motor. I don't care. But DJing, there's a lot of DJ videos popping up.
Yep.
And most of it is like scratching or beat juggling or whatever. But I feel when I started posting videos on the internet, it was more, I really wasn't showing off how good technically I was. I was like putting together fun little 60-second clips of like fun music, dance music, and then making it kind of technical, but not as hard as if somebody saw it, they can't recreate it in a way. So I feel like when I started doing that, it kind of took my videos and turned them into not tutorials, but more of like 60-second party on your phone. Yeah. And so that's kind of like what my mentality has been moving forward with it, and that has caught the attention of some people. Yeah. Especially out in California. Right. With BPM Supreme, the music record pool that I work with. Yeah. And yeah, it's been great. So that's kind of how I was able to branch out in Pittsburgh to other places without actually having to leave Pittsburgh. It's great. The internet is a great tool. Absolutely. It really is. Yeah, no, I mean, most of my business is we work online and try to develop as much as we can so that we don't want you to have the online ordering experience. We want it to be a personal, you know, you can call or come in, whatever. But the back and forth in emails, it can get a little bit like, if I could put it together a little form and said, what exactly do you want, and then that shoots to me, that just took out 5 to 10 back and forth, so that helps a little bit. So online's awesome. We handle all of our orders online, but like the amount that you're able to grasp, the amount of people that you're able to reach, it's phenomenal. It's really unlimited. I mean, the couple of viral videos that BPM put out, it was really crazy. The one, the Cash Me Outside girl. Yep. With Eminem, right? Yes. Yeah. The little mix there. That was really funny when that went viral, because the guys at BPM were just like, what's going on? What's going on? But that was a lot of fun because, you know, I'd been working real hard. So when a video like that, you know, pops off, and you never know which one's it's going to be. You never know. So when that happened, it was pretty fun, and they loved it. How many hits did that one get? I think that one has I actually think it got taken down, to be honest with you. Really? Okay. I just checked the other day. Yeah. Because I wanted to put it up on a website or a Facebook post. Sure. But I think they took it down because she's a legit rapper now, and I guess so. Right. So her record label must have found it, took it down or something. Okay. I don't know. I never got an email or a message regarding it, but I can't find it on YouTube anymore, and. Okay. I know they didn't take it down on my Instagram. It's still on my Instagram. But I think the last time that I checked it, it was up to like 4 million. Okay. 4.5 million. Gotcha. But that was hilarious. Right. That was pretty funny. That's awesome. But yeah, that was cool. And then the next, I did another exclusive mix for BPM. I think it reached up to 1.5 million or maybe 2. I'm not sure. Yeah. But I mean, that's great because obviously I do those videos for for nothing. That's just what I do to promote myself.
Right. And how often do you do it?
So back when I was doing it a lot, I tried to do one video a week.
Okay.
Right now, I'm probably doing one video every other week.
Okay.
Unless I have something going on. So my social medias are always going to have something pop up.
Gotcha.
I'm never going to ghost for a month because that's just what I do and how I move forward and what I use to motivate me to not slack and be lazy. So I'm always doing videos. I'm always trying to put together mixes. I have a mix series called What's Goody with ADMC.
Okay.
And I try to put out a mix once a month. I'm up to 5 right now, or 6,
okay.
I should say.
Is that on SoundCloud?
That is on SoundCloud.
Okay.
And Mixcloud. And I like to stay busy with it because if you work for yourself, it's very easy to say, okay, I'm going to take this day off or the next day off, take a week off. And then you get into this this wave of doing nothing for a long time. And then with anything, once you stop, it's hard to start again.
Right.
So I try not to let that happen.
Correct. And I mean, I'm sure it's the same for you as far as like booking and promoting and all these things. I mean, granted, you do have a home where you're pretty consistent, but if you're not constantly out there trying to, for me, it's with quotes and customer service and answering emails and phone calls. If I don't do that for a week, then the next week I don't have any work. So it's like you got to keep a steady stream of that.
You have to, otherwise, you're not gonna have steak for dinner. You're gonna have ramen noodles. Not that there's anything wrong with ramen noodles, but steak is better.
Yeah, it's good. But if you're starting out, you wear a lot of different hats, and you want to make sure that you're getting a little piece of everything and not just doing the thing you like. Because doing that thing you like is good, and you should perfect it. But there's also, you need that balance.
What I always tell myself, because I don't preach to anybody, but what I always tell myself, because I preach to myself, is whatever you do, whether it's work for yourself, work for somebody else, do nothing at all, sit on the couch and play video games all day. Whatever you do, there's going to be something about that you don't like to do.
Right.
That you do not want to do.
Of course.
And you just have to deal with that and do it. I mean, but what I do now is I tell myself that I'm doing what I chose to do. I'm not working for anybody else.
Right.
And I'm not getting involved in corporate stuff. But when drama and stress hits me now, I deal with it a lot better than I would if I had not chosen my life.
Absolutely.
So I have to keep reminding myself that, because now I've been doing it for 2 years, and you get into the routine, and then you get upset when something bad happens. But
sure,
I'd rather, you always have to remind yourself, you rather want to deal with this stuff when you choose it rather than when it happens to you and you have no control over it.
I love that. Well, I appreciate you being on.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Where can we find your information if someone wanted to look you up?
So you can find me on Instagram at DJ ADMC. You can find me on Facebook if you just type in DJ space ADMC.
Cool.
And that's probably the big. Oh, and then SoundCloud. SoundCloud, just search DJ ADMC as well, and you'll be able to find that page pretty quickly.
Sweet. Well, thanks for watching. This has been Thoughtful Discussions. I'm Josh Snyder. Make sure you subscribe, share, like, comment, and check out the next episode.
Skirt.